Hey everyone, welcome to Taqueando. I'm your host, Bill Esparza, and this week we are heading north to Portland's queer-owned Chicano Wonderland, vegan Mexican restaurant Mis Tacones with owners Carlos Reynoso and Polo Bañuelos. But first, at Taqueando, eating antojitos is a way of life, from the world's most celebrated dining rooms to the gritty stands and storied market stalls that preserve culture. Life is short, so we must eat well, and here are this week's Antojitos rundown. The first spot I want to talk about this week is I had a wonderful dinner at Rustic Canyon. This was a one-night pop-up for Rustic Canyon CDC, Chef Elijah de Leon, who's getting in touch with his Mexican roots and did a wonderful takeover menu. One of the standout dishes, it's just amazing, was a pear and quince dish with a walnut mole, super sweet and with a little touch of savory. After talking to Chef, he really hasn't spent a lot of time in Mexico. And I was telling him, some of these ideas you came up with have echoes in different parts of Mexico. I loved how through his own experimentation, he kind of connected with some of these places. That dish was amazing. For the snacks, there was this beef tenderloin chicharrones, which kind of reminded me of the quives from Yucatan. And when I mentioned that to him, he was like, what? I've never heard of that. And it's like very much like quives. I mean, the Lebanese-inspired street food that you find in the Yucatan. Okay, another one that caught us off guard was his pork belly tostada, which when I described the cured pork tostadas that you find like in Jalisco, and so they weren't inspired by that, but they definitely had that same vibe and flavor profile. A wonderful dish. I really enjoyed the entire meal, and one of the mains was a spiny lobster a la diabla, which again sort of reminded me of the spider crab in Popotla. No connection though, just a natural assumption that flavor would be great with lobster. They're going to be doing it again, so tune in to Rustic Canyon's social media to find out when they're going to do Rustic Cantina again. Then on Saturday, I was in Santa Barbara and got to stay at the El Encanto Hotel, which is an amazing property. Had a lovely suite because I was there for dinner. And Coli, which is a one Michelin star restaurant from Monterrey, Mexico, was doing a pop-up there. It's a week of pop-ups. And I was aware of Coli, and I thought it was a newer restaurant, but it had been around for a long time, but it pivoted in the pandemic to a type of fine dining that they're doing now. And they ended up getting the Michelin star. And so they've been on my radar as I know the name. I did not know about their cuisine. So I came in as a novice when it comes to that restaurant. And I have to say, I was blown away. It was a very high level cooking. They had a dish that was called Art, which had rice paper with a 3D printed vegetable ink pattern on it. It was a wonderful blend of watermelon and jocoque, which is cultured cream, beans, and jacube. Jacube is a type of cactus. And, the dish was just fresh. There wasn't a lot of techniques done except for great, beautiful cuts of the elements of the dish, but that beautiful cover of rice paper. They misted it with a little gin, and so there was something else with it, but that kind of moistened the rice paper so that when you took it apart, it sort of folded into the flavors of the dish. Beautiful and a breathtaking dish. And then they did a nixtamalized tomate nixtamalizado, and that was in an ash mole with cheese. So tomatoes, mole, and one tomato, whole tomato that went through the nixtamal process over mole. Another beautiful dish. And the last one I want to talk about is a dish they called naturaleza, which was, a fish. Now, we've seen these types of dishes. A lot of restaurants, do a nice little small cut of fish that has crispy skin and it's grilled. We hope it's going to be tender, and it was. But the flavors in that dish, at the same time, they were subtle, but once you really mixed them together and dug, we were telling the server we needed a spoon for this, but the sauce itself, that had a mixture of coconut, hoja santa oil, cucumber. It just was a beautiful complement to the fish. And, besides the techniques, this was a beautiful, delicious tasting meal. And I cannot wait to go to Coli. So on the way out of town, though, I stopped for brunch at Dom's Taverna for this Basque-inspired. I mean, to me, they say Basque-inspired, and I was even telling you guys, you got to lose this Basque thing. You're a Santa Barbara seafood restaurant with local products that has some Basque elements that if you look for it, they're there. So my martini had a Gilda pincho on it. So, okay, that's Basque enough, but wonderful oysters. And I had never, in LA, we only get oysters from everywhere else. We get them from Washington, Oregon, the East Coast. We get them from Vancouver, Washington. We even get them from Baja California, but we don't get LA oysters, right? You'd probably be pretty suspicious if you did get one. But they had one lone Morro Bay oyster, and there were 4 people at the table, and I am, the owners and their friends. I'm like, I'm taking this thing. So sorry about that, guys. That oyster from Morro Bay was beautiful, and then we tried some other local oysters, grilled oysters, and then I had a grilled vermilion fish. They change fish depending on what they get, but the restaurant is doing something different from the rest of the Santa Barbara seafood restaurants. You're not going to find anything frozen. They're really they're going direct to fishermen and bringing in what's fresh and local as much as they can, with some exceptions like oysters that are, we have to bring them in from other places. But the fish was just beautiful. But I have to tell you, if you order the fish, make sure you get a little piece of the pepper and the sexy scallions. They do these sexy scallions on a lot of their dishes. And so you want to make sure you get those in each bite. It really completes the dish. It's made to be eaten that way. So it's not that it needs more flavor, but that is the dish. Okay. The last thing, so many great seafood dishes there, but there was this Basque cheesecake. Mine was filled with caviar. Is that normal? So my producer just told me that's not normal. So did you get the caviar, Luca? So Luca did not get the caviar. So sucks to be Luca. And it's great to be me. Yes, the Basque cheesecake is a family recipe from one of the chefs, and beautiful. Definitely hit. You definitely want to stay at El Encanto. It's a beautiful experience. And always hit Dom's Taverna when you're in town tasting wines. And now, a reminder that Taqueando is part of the Acquired Taste Media family. Be sure to listen to our sister podcast, the LA Food Podcast. This week, Luca is speaking with James Beard Award-winning author Adam Reiner about his new book, The Rules of Dining Out. That episode drops on Friday. And now, vamos a taquear. Hey, guys.
Hola, amores!
Hola.
That's what I wanted to hear. Hola, amores!
Yeah.
I met you both at our event we had in 2023, and I've worked with you now on 2 events, and near your hometown. And I have to say, going to your restaurant is one of the best and most memorable experiences I've had eating Mexican food in the last couple of years. It definitely, like everything that you guys are doing, has left an impression on me, and I love it.
Thank you.
Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias.
No hay de qué.
Yeah.
So I want to talk a little bit about the history. I did read up a little, and so you started in 2016 as a pop-up. Is that correct?
Yeah. So we moved up here for 2015. I'm originally born in Mexico, Baja California. Grew up in Huntington Park, then Whittier, and then lived all over Los Angeles before we moved up here. And to be honest, and I'm sure Polo will also kind of chime in because we always topple over each other. But it was being very homesick. That's kind of where we kind of started. My grandma, she lived, she passed away in 2010, but she lived in City of Terrace, and being around my grandma's house and just being in that area, like los tacos, los taquerias in that area, that's kind of what I missed the most in Portland, because that's kind of like something that wasn't really around back then, right? Yeah. Now you see that. Ahora sí lo ves. You see the hot dogs, you see the taqueros more so now.
Yeah.
But when we moved up here,
changing.
Está cambiando. Yeah. But when we moved up here, that wasn't the thing at all.
Yeah.
And we're also vegan también.
We got up here in 2015, and quickly realized, like, there was a lot of like lacking for like community and cultura, and one of the things that we really missed was that community. And being in LA, having to, living in our beautiful little like bubble. Tenemos cultura, and everybody's brown. All of our homies, all of our cousins. Yeah, you kind of take that for granted because it's there. It's all accessible.
So yeah.
And then you move to Portland, Oregon, one of the whitest cities.
Even the Mexican food was white.
Very white.
Dude.
Hella white.
And,
for sure.
it's a culture shock for sure. And so like for us, I'm like, dude, I miss being able to go to the mercadito and just going to like the botanas, the botanicas, and it's over here not having that is just like where do I find this? And I need this. Like my heart.
It was honest. It was definitely heartbreaking. So I think for us, doing Mis Tacones started off as just doing pop-ups. To be honest, like I have backgrounds working in kitchens, but we never ran a business before, right? So we kind of there's a lot we didn't know, but we just did it. We just did it. We didn't
fuck it. Let's do it.
We did it. Like Portland is hella white, but the community here is very strong. It's a very strong community, and they will literally come out and support you.
Yeah.
And I'll be straight up, like there's been a lot of like the punk community here, the vegan community here. It's very white, but they will come out because le falta sabor, right? Le falta sabor,
right?
Because the vegan food here was, I mean, I don't want to be shady, but
no, be shady.
It's le faltaba sazón. I'll be shady. Le faltaba poquito sazón, right? So it's very bland.
Yeah.
It's the same stuff. I mean, I've been vegan for about since I was for a long time. I don't want to date myself, make myself feel older. But I've been vegan for like almost 20 years.
Right.
Right. So vegan food to me, like it's evolved a lot.
You came out of the womb vegan.
Came out of the womb. I mean, not really. No, not really. I feel like I had to really know how to, in order to make what we make vegan, I had to know what the carnitas tasted like. Right. That's when I was a kid. Like that was in me, in my blood, and I was able to be.
That is true.
So I had to know what that pastor tasted like, the asada, all that. But I feel like the pop-ups came from, like a longing for that community. And I feel that that piece was missing, but the community aspect, like these punks, because I feel like the community that came out to support us at first was the punk community. Like the punk community out here, like they saw what we were doing, and it was something different. Because we weren't, it was all, we hand painted signs. We make piñatas. We would bring, Polo would come out in big old tacones and stilettos. And we were just kind of just doing literally what we could find, accessible to us.
Right.
We went out there. We didn't have a car. We went Uber.
No, you put on a show, and you see that at the restaurant. There's the tacones, the piñatas tacones, which, I mean, I'm like, oh my God, this place is perfect, And it's small. It's small, but you really pack so much charm and character inside of it.
Yeah. I want Mis Tacones to be an escape for people.
Yeah.
Just come in, have a good experience. Like if your eyes wander like mine do, like I'm always like looking at all of the art, looking at pictures, just looking at everything. It just kind of like tells a story. I want that vibe to like really, really show up when people come through.
To resonate.
I mean, I wanted to either remind you of your abuelita's house, or I wanted to remind you of like the first time you went to Baja California, or the first time you stumbled across like the mercaditos and like Islos. I wanted to have some kind of impact that it's like it's cultura.
Yeah.
And I mean,
I feel like also too, like my grandma Conchita at her house in East LA, she grew up like she was in Mexico because she was in Mexicali in Baja California. The Great Depression times also affected her, so she would collect a lot of things.
Right.
She would collect like the little ceramic cochitos with the alcancías. She would collect like the little like tchotchkes. So you go to her house and she would have a quinceañera recuerdos, and she would all these like little like beautiful, like to me they were beautiful because it was a part of her.
Yes.
But she would collect all these things that maybe they weren't the most like actual like value, like
nothing.
Money-wise.
They didn't match.
It didn't match, but it was colorful. It was very beautiful. You would go in there and she would cook sopa de chicharrón, tortillas de harina, arroz con leche, and she had all her colorful tchotchkes everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the vibe that we kind of want to cultivate at the restaurant.
Yeah,
that's the Mexican abuela vibes, along with a little bit of Avon in between.
The Avon, holding on to the old containers, the lotion, and she changed it to something completely different. But she holds on to she would hold on to everything, todo.
Yeah,
I know. I know that living room. I know that living room. and so Mis Tacones, you opened as a brick and mortar in which year?
2022.
2021?
Yeah, February 2022.
Yeah, almost 4 years now.
Yeah.
So coming out of the pandemic, you opened the brick and mortar. And, the thing that struck me is a lot of the Mexican owned restaurants where cooking different types of Mexican food now that are really prominent kind of started around that same time where there was a shift to Mexican owned businesses, Mexican owned taquerias. But you guys are so far away from Mexico, but yet there's so much character. And so what is Portland Mexican food, and why are so many badass chefs there doing really cool original concepts like yours,
Yeah.
Well, I feel like,
honestly,
you first.
the way that I see it is like, yes, we're so far away from the motherland, but lo tenemos en las raíces, en la sangre.
Yeah.
And like, for me, it's like this is our cultura. This is like our Chicano culture, and I I need that. I want that. Not only I want to showcase that. I want to share that part to everybody. I mean, because like I never lived in Mexico. But I would go all the time as a kid. Like, I would spend summers over there with my grandma, and it was something so special. But all of that, like growing up in California, and Southern California, Central California, where it's like very, very much like not only my first generation, like it's like still everywhere.
Yeah.
And there's no getting away from it from me. Like I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't dream of it. And so like it's really important for us to be able to like showcase, like, we wanted to pour ourselves into this business. We really wanted to pour everything that we love, everything that we represent, everything that like really matters to us into this business. Like, one, because like at first we didn't know what the hell we were doing when we started a business.
Yeah.
But we knew that it had to be something meaningful and personal to us.
But I think also too, like, I feel like, so I'm gonna defend, like, there's a lot of, if you go to a Mexican restaurant anywhere in Oregon, you're gonna see Mexicanos in the back cooking, and it's not their fault. It's not their fault. Honestly, they're cooking for the audience, and the audience tend to be hella white and very, like, they're hella bland, right? So what we did is we cooked for ourselves. We're cooking for ourselves. We're cooking for what we want to eat. We're cooking, making stuff that we grew up eating, right? Like, the arroz that we make is my mom's recipe. Abram's mom, she makes tamales. She sells tamales in Porterville like 3 times a week. She's out there selling tamales, hustling with tamales. To this day, she still does that. So we're cooking for ourselves. I feel like a lot of Mexican restaurants in Portland, they falta sazon because they're cooking for the audience, and sometimes the audience bland.
Right, because I've gone out. No, I don't disagree with you. I've gone out a couple. Those 2 years those 2 summers I was there. I went around to try places that were written about and talked about. And I went to this one, and it was fine, but like the moles, and they had a lot of different moles, so people like moles there. But the moles didn't have any spice or complexity.
That's fine.
And then they were over like salmon, and then there was a kale salad on the side. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
So that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's what's un pecado. Look, honestly, there's an appropriate time for kale salad, but that's just not appropriate.
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like at the end of the day, honestly, and even early on, like, I feel like for us, we are very much so a family business. Yes, we're far from Mexico.
Yeah.
We're very far from Mexico, but our family, our moms, our tios, our primos, they're very much so a part of this, and they've been very much so a part of this. Like, for example, the recipe for the carne asada, that's the recipe that mi tío Filiberto would make. He passed away in 1997. But the way that he makes the carne asada is the way he would make it. So we did a lot of research. We would call our moms and ask for recipes para arroz, para los frijoles, por birria, al pastor, all that. We would ask them because, again, we're cooking for ourselves.
Yeah, because, I mean, we really want to, we queremos incluir a la familia everywhere, because it's like when I was a kid, my favorite carne asada was made by my tío, or my brother cooking carne asada, or like el arroz que hacía mi mamá, and like the frijoles, like
the backyard asada,
so for
the
me,
family celebrations.
Yeah, like for me, like that was like my favorite. I couldn't wait to go to my nieces or my prima's quinceañera. I couldn't wait because I was like, oh, I can't wait. Voy a agarrar un plato de arroz
and
frijoles. I'm just gonna like it was everything.
Yeah.
So those flavors, I was like, of course, like yeah, like we cook and we have all these things, but like it was really important for us to get it right, to get it right the way that we remember it.
Because I mean, one thing that I like, one thing that I've learned as a cook, right? Like, because I mean, with Mis Tacones, I mean, I worked in a lot of kitchens, but I never ran a kitchen the way we run a kitchen at Mis Tacones. I feel like for me, the simple things. Because you go to a restaurant and they want to highlight like la carne and these are the things, which you should, right? But they always miss the frijoles, la salsa, the rice. It's kind of like afterthought. And those things to me matter more.
Yeah.
Because people, when I go to, I've been to a shit ton of Mexican restaurants. I growing up in Los Angeles, growing in Mexico. And what I remember most is el arroz y los frijoles, la salsa y las tortillas. That's what I remember. And in some places,
when you go to Mexico, they get that right.
They get
of course
they do.
Yeah, they do.
Of course they do.
Yeah.
Right? But I feel like you go to some. We've gone to some sad. Again, not to be shady, but sometimes you.
No, it's an economic thing and it's an audience thing.
It's an audience thing.
Yeah.
So we've been to some bad. And my mom, my poor mom, pobrecita. We've taken her to some really terrible Mexican restaurants where the rice was so bad. Oh my god, it was disgusting.
Oh no, when you order una agua de Jamaica,
it's made from the
it's like Kool-Aid.
It's
like
Kool-Aid it's a powder. It's like they add
man.
I take a drink and I get so offended.
It's disgusting.
I'm like, you guys are gonna like this is like syrup Kool-Aid with like 50 ingredients.
Yeah.
I was like, ¿qué les cuesta?
But the Jamaica is so easy to make. But again,
what?
It's the audience.
Jamaica flowers, agua, azúcar.
It's the audience.
It's the audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the Mexican food, the Mexican restaurant shortcuts are evil.
They are evil.
They're like
but you know what? Though? But honestly, it's
so
crazy.
evil.
But I mean, look,
my heart.
No, they are evil, and it's honestly, it's like no, don't cut corners.
No.
It's gonna be worse for you. Don't cut corners. Like for us, for example, like me and Polo, when we're at the restaurant, we're training new cooks. The arroz, making the Mexican rice, it's actually not easy. It's kind of hard. It takes a while to finesse it because if you're like multitasking, se te quema el arroz because you have to pan fry it, right?
Yeah,
you have to really care for it. And we've been in the kitchen so many times where three of us, hey, el arroz, sácame el arroz, and we'll run in the kitchen and be like, who's doing the arroz? Like, please take care of the arroz and los frijoles because once you burn the frijoles or the arroz, ya estuvo.
No.
Pot, done.
Burning the frijoles is
no.
Eso no se hace.
Pero también we used to when we did pop-ups, ya no más. We used to do tamales. In the winter we would do tamales y pozole, y champurrado. And I remember one winter we were doing tamales and we were making tamales at 4 a.m. It was crazy. This giant ass pot we had like 180 tamales. And we were that was desvelados. We were so exhausted doing pop-ups and working multiple jobs, whatever. And we literally took a nap and just we didn't wake up and the whole pot took a
Oh no!
The leaves on the bottom they burned.
Oh
we were
no!
It was awful. So yeah, after that we're like, it was heartbreaking. I mean, it happens because we were overworked. When you start off, early on, you gotta juggle a bunch of stuff. So it's those little things like when that happens, when you burn the pot, arroz se quema. Like it's unforgettable. You can't fix it anymore.
No.
Estuvo.
Yeah.
And you have to throw that whole pot out.
Tamales labor is no joke.
It's no joke.
Yeah.
But the tamales, it's not that they're not hard to make.
It's a lot of time. It's time.
It's a lot of time. Yeah, it's a lot of time.
Yeah. So you really have to commit. That's like my mom doing tamales like 3 times a week, multiple times sometimes, or having big orders of tamales.
Yeah.
It's like the señora, like I don't know how she does it.
And she's 66.
But she does it. She gets down, and I have so much respect for her like work ethic and just kind of like
she's hard,
like that hustle is real. And not only my mom, I mean like everybody. Like if you make tamales for a living, like mad respect.
But let's focus on your mom because honestly, mi suegra, she is 66 years old. She's out there hustling her tamales 3 to 4 times a week in Porterville, California. It gets hot in the summer. Sometimes she's out there selling her tamales.
Oh no, it's rough out there.
It's rough.
Yeah.
Last winter, she sold tamales to Will Smith. Will Smith came up and bought tamales off of her in Porterville, California.
Yeah.
And you know what I love about the tamal vendor too is that they're like, this is all I made, and when this is done, I'm going home. I'm done.
Yeah. And normally she'll tell us, she goes, she posts up on her spot at like 7, 8 in the morning, and she's there till about 1, and ya estuvo, se acabó.
Yeah.
And sometimes she's out there by herself. Sometimes she'll be out there with
one of my tias, one of my primas,
sobrina will be out there with her. But this woman is. But you know what though? We tell her, why no lo hagas. Like why? But she loves it. Like she has that entrepreneur energy that like or wanting to cook.
That's what they hate.
Yeah.
That's what they hate about us. Okay.
Yeah. It's like you can't stop.
They hate the entrepreneurialism.
The entrepreneurship. But you know what though? I feel like for us, like early on doing the pop-ups, they're so hard. I mean, for people that know pop-ups, like when you do them, I mean that's all you have. They're so fucking hard. But you know what? They're also very addicting. They're so addicting because the work, it's like it's grueling because you basically have to pop up like something. You have to pop up a whole business out from nothing and then take it back down and then haul it in your car and just take off. But like doing the work is really hard. But then afterwards, when you see people are coming talking to you, you're storytelling. People are excited about what you're selling. It's addicting, right? And it's like that's what kept us going in the early years when we had literally nothing. We were broke. We had no capital. We had absolutely nothing. Making nothing, like making little work, making like our small resources work with what we had.
That's true.
Available to us.
Yeah, and it was a kind of a great time to develop your recipes and your ideas, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I mean, like, well, our pop-ups were we only had 3 tacos. That was it. Yeah, for like the first 3 years of pop-ups, we only had the 3 tacos on the menu. We had nothing else, and then like little by little, as we started to get more space and more kitchen time, then we're like, all right, well, we'll bring something else. Make some aguas frescas. Maybe we'll have tamales today, or we bought a small portable deep fryer, and we're like, all right, let's do some empanadas, or fuck it, let's start doing some nachos.
But hold up, but real quick, sorry, we're all going off tangent, but that deep fryer. So we had a tiny little car.
Yeah,
and we first got the deep fryer, we would haul everything into the car with the deep fryer and the hot oil. And it's like me and Polo, a generator, all this stuff, and a deep fryer with hot ass oil. So we're driving, and if any breaks, and the hot oil could literally splash. It's like it's not very secure, and it could splash and hit us. It's like so dangerous.
It's not very safe.
It's not very safe. But you do what you gotta do.
People don't understand like how many Mexican street vendors drive around just like that.
Yes, exactly. Yes,
with a giant pot of pozole.
A big old carnitas.
A fucking steam tray.
El caso.
Yeah, no, like me driving the car like this, like all the way to the front because it's jam packed. Polo with the steam tray and the hot water, and every time I break, the water splashes both of us. Hot water all over our legs.
Oh man! And you can laugh about it now.
Oh yeah,
but then
back then we definitely cried about it.
We cried. You honestly do. You do what you have to do. You do what you have to do.
And honestly, do what you have to do.
I mean, it is what it is. Like I feel like you have to have. Like I said, you have to really love it. You have to be obsessed with it, obsessed with what you're doing.
Yes, and I want to get into Mis Tacones again. This is I'm reminding the listeners my favorite vegan Mexican restaurant I've ever been to.
Gracias.
You know, there's great vegan Mexican cuisine that's traditional in different regions of Mexico, and that's a whole other thing. But to actually do the concept you guys are doing, I want to talk about that, but I want to ask you, and we started talking before the podcast about this idea that Portland is some hellhole that needs to be invaded by the federal government, and how, experiencing it here in Los Angeles, where it was like the Battle of LA, and I think Chicago sort of even took those lessons from Los Angeles, and they added their own fervor to it. I feel like Chicago did some incredible pushback against ICE.
Yeah.
But what Portland did was completely unique, and I think it just made the biggest mockery. I think if you're sitting out there in some small town in Missouri and you're looking at the ICE shooting a frog, you have to be saying to yourself, okay, this is stupid,
Yeah. Yeah. It is pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, like, one is like I watch this shit. I watch what's happening in the news. I see it.
Sure.
And then like when I see them like literally like gaslighting people who live in Portland. Oh, it's a war zone, and it's
right.
Like, dude, it's chill. There's like a long ass line of people waiting to get matcha. Then look at this lady walking her poodle over there, and then you got protesters in like frog costumes and chicken costumes.
They make it bike ride. The emergency naked
Literally,
bike ride
like,
happened over the weekend.
They organized an emergency naked bike ride,
And people showed up.
in protest. People showed up in hundreds.
That's the thing.
Emergency naked bike
Literally,
ride.
people showed up. My naked bike ride emergency. I'm gonna drop everything I'm doing. I'll be there.
In the rain, riding their bike.
Literally, I'm going to drop everything I'm doing, including my clothes.
Exactly. And my boss. And honestly, it was so okay. One thing to listeners that have never been to Portland, don't know Portland. It is cold as fuck right now. It is cold
and rainy.
And
oh my god,
it was the rainiest weekend we've had so far in October.
Oh yeah.
And people. That's the thing I love about Portland. Straight up, love Portland. I grew up in Los Angeles. Southern California will always be where I'm from, but I have so much respect for Portland.
Yeah.
Because out here, people show up. People literally, like, people aren't flaky.
Yeah.
People aren't flaky here. If you say, you know what, we need to organize this one thing in 2 days. People show up. People show up and they're down. People here are fucking down.
That's amazing.
Like, for example, our crew, our employees who we love, we have an amazing team, phenomenal team, and we advocate for them and like they advocate for us. We love our team. Without your staff, you're nothing. Period. As a small business. So 2 of our employees, they want to go to the No Kings March on Saturday. We did it. We did the No Kings March that happened the first one
earlier this year.
And you know what?
Yeah, I did that one too here in LA.
Yeah. So because honestly, like, we're covering their shifts to go. Hey, you know what? We want to do the protest. I know you guys want to go too. But you know what? You guys go do the protest. We'll watch the restaurant. Go handle this, please. And then we're also going to be providing free pozole for those that like go on
Saturday.
protest. So on Saturday, for people that are in Portland, right? Like if you do the protest, come to me, Tacones. We'll warm you up with some pozole. But I mean, those are things that like we do because we're really big on community. But it's not just us; it's other small businesses too that will give back and will do whatever it takes to keep that like fire in that community like support alive.
Yeah, it's like we see you out there. Like we see what you're doing, and not only do we respect that, we value that so much.
Yeah.
Like, yes, it's really, really important for us to like, not let our guard down.
Yes.
And really, really stand up for the fucking the bullshit that we are seeing every day with the stupid administration, and like really just kind of like no, we're not gonna take this. We're not gonna go silently. We're not gonna go at all. We're not going anywhere. We're going to make this as difficult for you as we possibly
and mock you and make it into a mockery.
Exactly, and we're going to make you look like the fucking
and mock you.
We're going to mock you.
For real.
We're going to make you shoot frogs.
We're going to make you shoot frogs.
Pobre rana.
Pendejos, pobre rana. No, pero se casaron. I heard they got married.
Yeah, and then you had some
luego se casaron.
Oh my God, that is such a Portland thing, right?
Luego se casaron.
Somebody got married in front of the freaking ice facility as in part of the protest in blow-up animal costumes. Like, that's the most shit ever.
That's amazing. Right. Again, everyone's doing it on social media, but we can say here that I've been to Portland a couple times now in recent years, and I thought it was a pretty mellow place, and lots of parking. It's pretty quiet actually, and going to your restaurant, it's very mellow. There's no war zone.
Oh yeah,
you might see tacones. That's all.
Oh yeah, and a lot of queers.
Yeah, queers and tacones.
Queers, tacones. And a lot of vegans.
It's
and vegans.
And vegans.
I mean, the funny shit is, it's like Portland really is like MAGA hell.
Yes.
Like MAGA dies and they go to hell.
They come to Portland.
Portland is what their hell would be. I think that's fucking hilarious.
It is.
But it's true. It's so fucking true though. But I agree with that 100%. This is MAGA. Portland is
and
MAGA
you know what?
hell.
You know what would be MAGA hell? And now to segue into your restaurant is a vegan chimichanga.
We have the best. And we have the best chimichanga for those motherfuckers.
No, okay. So again, at your very peaceful neighborhood restaurant in a very peaceful city, fun-loving city of Portland, I had the best vegan Mexican food of my life.
Muchas gracias.
But what I love is how, I think there's vegan dishes that are traditional Mexican that are amazing. And I've seen over the years, people try to take these these traditional sort of popular foods items from Chicano culture,
Mhm.
like burritos, tacos, tortas, quesadillas, the chimichanga, other types of items like that. But you found a way, nachos, okay, and you found a way to make it really delicious. And you sort of spoke on that earlier, but your chimichanga is memorable to me. And again, as a person, I don't want to be the stereotypical, well, I don't like, Mexican, vegan Mexican food. And I would say that it doesn't call my attention when I see it around town here. But there was something about your food that definitely intrigued me when I saw it. And then when I tasted it, I'm like, oh my gosh, you know what? I could just sit here and we don't even have to say it's vegan. And I'm glad that we're saying it's vegan, but it's so damn delicious. Your chimichanga rocks. The nachos you made are maybe the best nachos I've ever had. Not vegan or not vegan.
Muchas gracias.
I don't know what you did with that. And my friend and I were having it. We're like, what the hell? This is beyond like vegan good. This is just like amazing. The tacos are great, and you're using pink tortillas and different colored masa. You have incredible conchas with different flavors. You don't make those, but you get them
with La Casa de Mamá.
Right.
Yeah, La Casa de Mamá. Doña Miriam, she's incredible, and I'm so happy that we have her here. She's become our family también in Portland, and similar to us, she's out there doing her thing and doing her hustle and selling her conchas and pan dulce.
Yeah.
And I love to see that. I want to be able to support that as well. Support some of these streams. So we're very proud to have her conchas here when we do brunch on the weekends. Like we love it. Yeah.
Yeah, and all your takes on traditional flavors, like doing a birria thing or doing a fish taco, your connection to Ensenada and Baja California, they're all so good. The salsas are great. The beans and rice are amazing.
Yeah.
And your cocktails are fun. And so it's really a wonderful Mexican restaurant that also happens to be vegan and also happens to be queer.
Mm-hmm.
That part. Yeah.
Tell me what makes this place so amazing.
No. I honestly, I love that you said that. Yeah. I mean, honestly, for us, we just want to make really good food that just happens to be vegan.
I think you summed it up perfectly. It's like
I don't want to put
all these labels. I feel like honestly, like the focal point is good food. We want people to come in and just have a good time, have a good experience. But let me Aaron, because I know he's gonna attack me, kid, about más. Real quick. So I feel like for us, one thing that was very important to us that we wanted to make everything ourselves. We wanted to make our quesos, our carnes, everything we want to make ourselves
from scratch,
right? And I feel like yes, labor-wise, and talking about, I don't want to bore talking about business, right? But the one thing that's the most expensive for business is labor. Labor is very, very expensive, right? But for us, we wanted to make sure that we're making casual comfort food, that's like familiar and approachable, but it's actually very complex and hard to make sometimes, right? Actually, not all the time, because we're making the quesos. Some of the quesos take 3 days to make, right? The carnes, we bake all the seitan ourselves, right? The cremas
by hand. We don't have any electric mixers.
We have one prep cook kneading that. So with seitan, you need it like pan, like bread. You need the dough.
A lot of kneading
by hand. Needing that
every single batch. We're making about 300 pounds of the seitan every week.
Yeah.
And so that seitan becomes our carne asada. It becomes our al pastor or different specials that we decide to run. Like lately, I think we've been using a lot more like mushrooms, like locally foraged mushrooms.
But the reason why that is because one of our employees, Chloe, shout out to Chloe, who we love. She's been with us for almost 3 years.
Yeah.
She grew up in Oregon and she forages these mushrooms. She won't tell us where, which when she got
That's also very Mexican. That's also very Mexican.
Right? Yeah. So she won't tell us where she gets these mushrooms, right? But she's sourcing lobster mushrooms and trout mushrooms, which will turn into birria. And then right now we have a camarón taco that we make out of the
lobster mushrooms.
Right. So it's very like sourcing these mushrooms, like out from nature to table, making everything in house, and that was very. I mean, it wasn't always easy early on when we were getting the restaurant going. It was hard because we're literally trying to train everybody to make everything the way you used to make it with the pop-ups, and it's not easy, right? Like you're building it as you go. You're really building shit as you go, and it's really hard. But it didn't matter how hard it was. We weren't going to change anything. Like everything has to be done by hand. Everything has to be done from scratch. We're not going to cut corners at all.
Yeah, like all of our juices for like our margaritas, everything that we have
Fresh
at the bar,
juice,
we fresh squeeze, like everything. Our garnishes, we dehydrate our own garnishes. Like our syrups, we make our own syrups for our drinks. Like everything, salsas, our cheeses, we use sunflower seeds. It's like processes, like. There's a lot that goes into it. I mean, like even something as simple as like, I mean, not even simple but like our like enchiladas and our chilaquiles, when we do stuff like that. Like for me, I can't use like lo de lata. I can't use that stuff.
No way.
Because when I was a kid, and I remember like mi abuelita making me like some huevitos and some chilaquiles and the frijoles, she made those chilaquiles from scratch. Like moliendo el maíz. She would grind for everything from moliendo el maíz to making the tortillas to making the salsas, all of it, every bit by bit, everything from scratch.
Yeah, not cutting corners.
Those flavors.
It makes a difference.
It really does make a difference. I mean, you can't replicate those
flavors. I feel like doing that at home, you know, like it's, you know, when you do it for like, you know, you're cooking for like 3 people, it's pretty manageable. But when you're doing that for an entire weekend brunch and you have to it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
Yeah. So it sounds like, I mean, what I experienced there, I think there's a lot going on with your, you know, something with the labor or the seasoning and the vegan cheese you're using. And it's sort of like you have flavor in everything. And so when it comes together in these dishes, when you're not getting those savory drips from meat and stuff that really add a lot of flavor and mouthfeel, you're getting that from all the work you're putting into the rice, the beans, the vegan cheese, the guisos, the chiles that you're all your flavors, your salsas, and it tastes like it tastes so damn good. It looks beautiful. You know, it's a very attractive looking food. I think about it a lot. I think about like, man, I wish you guys were here.
You need to come up. You need to come up and see us.
Yeah, I do need to come up.
This winter.
I'll bring my frog. I'll bring my frog costume.
There we go.
Hell yeah!
Bring it.
Yes, por favor. Also, too, I feel like also too, like, so going back to I've been vegan for almost 20 years, and I think that, like, you know, the vegan cheeses which have evolved, and there's some really good ones in the market. There really is some really good ones in the market.
Yeah.
But I feel like here I'm gonna be shady again. I feel like some vegan cheeses, they taste processed, and I'm not gonna say which. I'm not gonna say which one.
They do, and that's what kills the vibe.
It kills the vibe. And some of them, for example, a while ago, I had this burrito. I'm not gonna say from where, but I had a burrito. It wasn't terrible, but I feel like it had the vegan cheese. And the thing about vegan food is that vegan food will never do what the non-vegan counterpart does. Never. Yeah,
and, so you got to get your mind out of there, right?
You got to get your mind out of there because it doesn't have dairy in it. It doesn't have the compounds that the non-vegan stuff has. So you can't treat it the same way. You can't. Right, so when you make a vegan burrito and you melt the vegan cheese the same way you do the regular cheese, sometimes it doesn't work. It doesn't taste right. So I had this burrito and it had the vegan cheese and it was just very oily. It just wasn't good. It wasn't good. Right, so I feel like for us to making our own cheese, we have more control over that because we know what goes. We know how it's gonna act. We know how to manipulate it. Like we know how to use it as a vegan item, not a cheese.
Yeah. From being cocineros, we also have to become scientists every now and then, and like really figure out like solid recipes, like what's gonna work, like texture wise, like what do I add, what do I take away. There's so much, like we have to be so involved with the recipes constantly.
You have to build flavors because I was actually talking to someone about Indian food. Is like, okay, when they're eating, you know, these vegetables all day long and the same ones every day, you have to put they put a lot of, that's why they put so much spice.
Yeah,
there's so much spice in their stews so that, you know, a simple vegetable becomes very interesting and flavorful.
Yeah,
and good cooking happens in a lot of places that don't have access to meat, where they're adding so much into the sauce or the stew, and that's what you're doing. You're building flavors.
Yeah. I think also too, like early on when we were still kind of like developing Tacones, you know, as a concept and all that. We a lot of the cooks that were kind of like our peers, I guess, like they were trying to reinvent like stuff that already existed. They were trying to like reinvent stuff, but like add charcoal to everything, or like whatever, like make things more nuanced, whatever. For us, we wanted to preserve. Like, we're about preserving stuff. It's like it's not if it's not broke, why fix it? Like like for us the only difference is that it's gonna be vegan, but we're trying to change anything. We're not trying to change like mole. We're trying to change carne asada. None of that. We're trying to preserve it. Like we're preserving the foods that we grew up eating, right? But it just happens to be vegan. Like we're not trying to like add kale to a burrito.
Don't put kale next to my mole ever.
Eso no se hace. No. Eso no se hace. But what I'm saying is that
a la chingada.
A la chingada. No, but we've seen people do stuff like that. And for us, it's like we're not trying to reinvent something. We're trying to preserve it. We're just preserving the foods that we loved eating as kids.
And you have. It does. I mean, as a Mexican American, a Chicano, I feel that. I feel that food like it's the food I grew up with in a new, fresh way. The other thing, now the one thing I haven't experienced that I want to is a drag brunch at Mis Tacones.
Por favor, you should come.
Man,
It's become a hot topic for people who are getting the misinformation and the influencers telling them all these things. But like a lot of people don't understand, like in Mexican culture, especially like if you go to Guerrero, where they have the Huevas Pozolero on Thursdays is Pozole night. And if you see all those restaurants, if you're in Acapulco or one of these towns, they'll advertise Huevas Pozolero con show. And that's always a drag show. Or con show de travesti. And like the thing that people really love is, okay, they can't, the Pozole night place cannot afford Marisela or Alejandra Guzman or all these great stars that everybody loves. So who's gonna, we don't have like people that are regular impersonators. They are usually drag performers that do these shows. And so it's not like a Michael Jackson impersonator person, right?
Yeah.
And so who just dances and moves. This is an actual people that are going to lip sync. They're going to dance. They're going to wear the outfits and dress up. And so we love that. And it's a family environment. They're young kids there, teenagers, adults, grandparents, and everybody understands like it's music and it's a performance and that's it, And so that's another thing that Trump and his administration weaponized in order to get votes from people is to make these bans and attack these things. I love that you're just saying, fuck you. Here's our drag show. Take me to the Mis Tacones drag show.
Exactly. I have to say a huge shout out to our Latina drag queens that we have in Portland, because they are incredible.
¿Cómo se llaman? You gotta give their names.
Hay muchas.
Yeah, we want to hear the names.
Hay muchas. We have Eris. We have Charisma. Tenemos a muchas.
There's a lot of queens.
So, chingonas, and I love this because they're also artists and they're also celebrating culture, and they're also bringing a lot to these events. By there's so much skill and talent that goes over here doing flips and
but also too they're also like they also get that the same visibility that we're trying to like cultivate with the Mexican restaurant. They're also cultivating that as being like drag Latinas, right? Because they're brown and they're also preserving that culture through their performances.
Right.
But going back to what we said, Bill, about like these drag performances in Mexico. Like I grew up going to drag performances in Los Angeles, and like Placita was a drag. I think Placita was in Melrose Placita.
Yes, like Mariscos in LA, East LA, Boyle Heights, Mariscos restaurants would have them.
So you'd go to Placita and you'd go to this like baile, whatever, and there'd be these drag performers, these drag queens, and they would be like the abuelita, los tíos, the primos. They would all be hanging out, drinking their beer and whatever, and there would be a big, beautiful drag performance, and it wasn't even that big of a deal. Also, Jalisco's in downtown LA too, drag performances, and then you have a mixture of like the gay kids over here, the tia over here, the primas over here. It's like a mixed match of like people, because that's just so ingrained in the culture. You're gonna go to the drag performance because it's part of the culture, right? So I feel like with our drag performance, that happened organically, and it was beautiful. It became this like family event, right? Where and I'm not gonna lie, like when we were organizing it, there was fear and anxiety around immigration, ICE, right? Because
sure, of course,
90% of our employees are brown, right? So I feel like there was fear around that. But for me, I'm like, fuck that. Like we need right now, our community needs for us to be together and not be fearful, right? Like we need these events because honestly, I'm be straight up. Like times are kind of dark right now, right? And I feel like we need some
We need lights.
bonito. We need we need drag queens, right? We need these type of events because honestly, it gives
Yes.
people hope. It gives people like, you know what? I don't want to feel like the new normal is fear and not going out and supporting these events. Like you should come out. And like the drag bunch we did at the end of summer, we sold out. We completely sold out. We sold tickets at that time, but it was a sold out event, and people came out. People came out with their kids. People just came out. They wanted to be out there, and it was a very beautiful. It was a beautiful event, and it reminded me of going to Placita, going to Jalisco, going to Tempo in Los Angeles. It took me back to those memories. Those are beautiful. Those are very beautiful memories that I have as a kid, going to those drag performances.
Yeah, and thank you for sharing that, and that makes me even more excited to go. And this idea that is out there that this is anything, again, it's just music, it's just performers, and
Yeah.
we've been listening to performers of all kinds of sexualities over the years. Like Americans love David Bowie, and they love all kinds of other artists. They loved Boy George, and
Oh yeah,
and George Michael, and so we've always listened to these performers. It's just music. They're not. It doesn't matter what their sexuality is. We're listening to the music and the artist, and that's it. It doesn't really matter. And I can say this for the people out there that are whoever's going to take issue with this conversation is that I'm a cisgender male, going to be 57 this month, and
you look great.
I grew up, thanks. And I grew up seeing these performers. I toured. I'm a musician. I toured with Marisela. We actually played gay clubs in Guadalajara. A lot of the people that worked with Marisela were gay and trans. So I was around that community. That's who would pick us up at the air. It would be a trans performer picking us up at the airport. That's who we were around all the time. So I got to see that culture, and she's very beloved among the LGBTQ and trans community, which is among the LGBTQ community, which has trans.
Yeah.
And so, but we were all around it, and it doesn't change anything. It doesn't influence you.
No.
It's just music.
It's art.
Art. Exactly.
I'm perfectly heterosexual, and I watched all this and grew up around all of this, and so it has nothing to do with that. This is music. This is family. This is normal, and it's fun, and you could just sit there and listen to music and have a chimichanga and have one of your signature cocktails and have a great time.
Oh,
Yeah,
exactly.
I think it's very important for you to say that. It's so important to let people know, like, hey, you know what? It's chill. Just literally go out, be with community, support these artists, support this artistry, and also to support this culture. Support the culture because
it's a show. It's entertainment. Have fun. Enjoy it. No te duele.
Yeah, bring your children. Maybe you'll learn about Marisela.
Bring your kids.
Maybe you'll learn some Marisela songs. That's it.
I also want to mention about our trans POC free pay it forward program that we do at the restaurant. So the original person that influenced us to do that program was our friend Cell Phone, who's also had a business, Gay for You, in the Bay Area. She also worked at other vegan queer businesses in the Bay Area, but she originally started doing this program with her business Gay for You in Oakland.
Yeah,
and we knew her, we love her, and we were inspired by her. So we took that idea and asked, hey, we want to do it too. She's like, you should do it. So we did, and we started doing that in Portland, like 4 years ago.
Yeah,
almost 5 years ago. Because when we started doing the Trans POC free, we didn't even have the restaurant. We had a residency at this one space called Cafe Reina. So we didn't have a space locked down at all. We were already offering this support because we saw that it was something that was very needed.
Yeah.
Very quickly, my background. I was a social worker for years. Also, I worked in the HIV field, doing HIV testing at bars and commercial sex venues, all that. So I feel like this is a service that I felt very much was needed with the community. So we've been doing it ever since, and we do Trans POC free at the restaurant, but we also, anybody who asks, who's in need of a meal, we don't turn them away.
Yeah, we built a pay it forward system. We wanted to include the community with this as much as possible. So we literally built a pay it forward system. So folks come in and they can pay $20, they can pay a meal, they can $5, lo que sea, to help us keep these programs alive and really help out, like, I don't know, just be there with a community that I feel like so misrepresented.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. So, and there's a link where people can donate, right, or can pay for a meal.
Yeah. Like online through our like online ordering platform. Like we have like our little buttons. Like you like order tacos, you order a burrito, or do you want to pay it forward? It shows up, and then like we'll keep track of these numbers of like the donations that come in, and then like the food that comes out. And it's like we really wanted to have something for our community. That's accessible. Not everybody can afford like a big meal, so it's like for me, I think it's something that comes from the heart, where looking out for our community.
Yeah, I love that. And I think one thing that people, when they look at Mis Tacones and all the things you're doing, between the drag performers, the people that are dining in your restaurant, the queer community, yourselves, and plus being Mexican, the drag performers are also Latinas. And so like these people, all of you are vulnerable right now during this administration, more vulnerable than someone like myself. And you're showing the courage that we should all have by going out there and doing these things, by having a drag brunch, by supporting trans POC who don't have many work opportunities and suffer from a lot of social problems because of the way they're treated.
Yes.
And so someone like me, it's important that someone who has this power can just walk into your restaurant, go to the drag brunch, spend money, and be there and be present. But what are some other ways? And that's the way I can help. I feel like just showing up and saying, you know what? This is a restaurant I recommend. I tell people to go to your place. I'm going to go to your place when I'm in town. But what are other ways people can support right now?
I feel like honestly, like what you just summed up, Bill, is perfect. Come to the events. Don't be afraid. Come to, especially people in Portland. Come to these events. Continue to strengthen community. Donate when you can to the Pay Forward program. Repost social media content of the restaurant.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Like follow, repost, share.
Yeah,
all of those things. I mean, it's like those little tools, like social media. They are very impactful,
and they matter,
and they do matter, especially for small businesses who like we can't always afford all of these like crazy, paying for like publications and like magazines or stuff like that. So we use what we have at our fingertips, and social media is one of those things that is really big. And I mean, I feel like social media has helped us build our brand like a lot
of businesses,
big time,
right?
and not only us, so many other businesses. So those sharing, those likes, those follows, like they do make a difference. It'll eventually translate into getting people in here. We have a bunch of tourists coming in and finding out about us. Like we want to be able to like spread the word. Like yes, like we are out here. Like come through and support us. Support businesses and like ours.
Also too, it's not just for vegans. It's for everybody. I think for me, what makes me the happiest is when I see people at the restaurant, vegans, non-vegans, just honestly come in to enjoy good Mexican food, good ambiente, good Mexican food. Just come out and just support us. I think for us, we just want to be considered a mainstream restaurant. We're just a Mexican restaurant that happens to be vegan, that happens to be queer, that happens to be. We're also advocates of our community. We're all those things, but the forefront, we're just Mexican food. That's it. We're just Mexican food.
No. That's the main reason to go. And let me edit my earlier statement. Yeah, it is my favorite vegan Mexican restaurant. It still is that, but it's also one of the best Mexican restaurants we're going to find in the United States.
Muchísimas.
I recommend Mis Tacones when you're in Portland, and you're going to have a great time. It's wonderful food. Spread the word. It's so wonderful having you on the podcast after, knowing you now for a couple of years.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill.
Yeah. Thanks for being on.
Yeah.
And I'll see you in Portland.
Thank you so much. Come. Por favor, we have another drag brunch this winter. Please come.
Okay.
We're going to tough it out in the icy cold.
Yes.
We're doing it.
Thank you for tuning in to the Taqueando podcast this week. And be sure to tune in next week for another episode. And please leave us a rating or review wherever you listen to your podcasts.